Indy 250 week is upon us here in the Haas IndyCar Series season. Of course, we begun festivities yesterday with Indy 250 full-time practice, and we also had the Indy Light Series race at this racetrack yesterday evening. But now, we are here in the IndyCar Series here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But this time, these guys will be going clockwise. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to race number 8 of the 2025 Haas IndyCar Series season. It's the NTT Data Grand Prix of Indianapolis from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course. What's going on, everybody? Caleb here, and welcome to the Indianapolis Road Course with the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We're here for race number 8 on the season, right here in Indy 250 week. So far, it's been fun. We've had, like I said, we've had full-time practice. We had the Indy Lights race here yesterday. And now the big boys are going to tackle this 2.4-mile road course here in the infield of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And it's definitely going to be a lot of fun, I can tell you all that. As we got a lot of storylines to go off of. Of course, we got the rising anticipation of the Indianapolis 250, which will be coming up in just about a week's time. And coming off of the last race at Kansas, where we saw the 5 of Nicholas Samadillo go to victory lane, and saw quite a few shakeups in points, including John Andrews retaking the points lead after Tanner Parton had a little bit of a rough go at it. But I have to see how everything shakes out here today as these guys prepare for this race, as well as the Indianapolis 250. With all that being said, joining alongside me for the call of this race, Daniel Paulus Jr. Man, I'm so excited to have you, and welcome to the Haas IndyCar Series booth.
Well, thank you for having me, Caleb, in the IndyCar Series booth. But, this is all new to me, and I can't wait to see what these drivers can do.
It's definitely going to be a lot of fun. I can definitely tell you all that, and I can definitely tell all you all watching that. Going to be a lot of fun here around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course. Got a 21-lap race ahead of us here tonight. Should have a pit cycle a little past halfways. And you all know how this track can be. We saw a wreck early on in the race at Kansas last week. And last year here at this very track, we saw a bit of calamity here in Turn 1 on lap 1. Will we see the same this year? We'll just have to wait and see how it'll all go down. But really quickly here, taking a look here at your point standings coming into today's race here at the Indianapolis Road Course. Like I mentioned, John Andrews, after a good run last week at the Kansas Speedway, retakes the point lead, but just by 1 point over what honestly I'd probably consider his championship rival at this point, the 8 of Tanner Parton, who just sits 1 point behind John Andrews heading into today's race. And looking further on down the point standing, Zachary Fitzwater, who actually starts on the pole position here today. So that could be a... But taking a look here at your point standings coming into today's race here from the Indianapolis Road Course. Like I mentioned, John Andrews, after a solid run at the Kansas Speedway last week, retakes the point lead, but just by 1 point over who I don't honestly probably call his championship rival, Tanner Parton, who comes in second in the point standings. Looking further on down, Zachary Fitzwater comes in third in the points, 38 back. And Fitzwater starting on the pole position here today, so has a very good shot at making up quite a few points potentially here today. But looking further on down the point standings, Brendan Wilmington comes in 4th in points, 49 back. 5th in points is Bradley Bradshaw coming in 51 points back. Dylan Matthews comes in 6th, 57 back. 7th is Chris Reynolds, 72 back. 8th is Bruno Giacomo, 75 back. 9th is D.B. Ruiz, who comes in 79 back. And we have a tie for 10th in the point standings between Brad Stover and Angel Oliveira, whom both come in 80 points behind John Andrews. But yeah, like I mentioned, we got Fitzwater starting on the pole position here today. So he has a pretty good shot at making up some good points here today. Tanner Parton in the 8th starting just outside the top 10. And John Andrews starting a little ways back in the 22nd position. So if he can maybe stay up there towards the front, Parton might have a shot at potentially retaking that points lead. But I'll have to see what Fitzwater does as well as he throws himself there in the equation. We'll just have to see how it all shakes out. But we'll just have to wait and see how it all goes down here after 21 laps here from the Indianapolis road course. But enough yapping from me. I think it's about time we get these guys rolling here from the Indianapolis road course. And as they do, we'll take a quick look here at your starting lineup for the NTT Data Grand Prix of Indianapolis. Of course, as aforementioned, on the pole, we've got the number 52 of Zachary Fitzwater, who's starting alongside the number 27 of Ace Garcia. Row 2, we have the number 55 of Noah Clifton, who had a pretty rough go at it last season before scoring, I believe, his first podium finish of the season at this very racetrack last year. Don't even the 3rd position there, so maybe this Indianapolis road course is Clifton's bread and butter. He's starting alongside the number 93 of Avery Alford. Row 3, we find a pair of NS Racing teammates. They started side by side at Kansas as well, and they're back here once again. We got Aaron April starting alongside Brennan Wilmington. Row number 4, we have the number 13 of Duncan Ward, who went for an absolutely wild ride at Kansas, starting alongside the number 49 of Angel Gutierrez. And then at your top 10, we had a couple cars that finished inside the top 10 at Kansas. It's the number 25, Thomas Droxel. Another good run potentially in the making for him, starting alongside the number 39 of Dylan Matthews. Racing code will be on the bottom left-hand side of your screen, making sure it's off okay. Looks like we are good. Well, Daniel, I'll ask you, who do you think is going to be the one going to victory lane here today from the Indianapolis road course?
Well, since I really haven't watched IndyCar that much, it's kind of difficult to say, but I'm going to have to go with Nicholas Samadeo in a number 5. I think, you know, since he's racing for Grattan Autosport, very strong team, so I think he could get it done.
Hey, definitely can't go wrong with Mr. Edge there. Has a decent starting position still there, just right outside the top 10. I have to see what he can do here today, but here we come through the long sweeping turn number 14, and down the front straightaway, we're green flag racing here from the NTT Data Grand Prix of Indianapolis, from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Down into turn 1 as everybody fans out. We got a little bit of 4 wide. We got one around. We got 2 around. There goes the 41 of Giacomo, as well as the 81 of Brad Stover. A little bit of chaos here in the opening lap, which is probably to be expected by this point, but luckily we didn't have a car get spun right into the path of the rest of the field like last season. But it was a good jump there off of the start for the 52 of Zachary Fitzwater, currently leading the way. Noah Clifton settles in 2nd. Garcia in 3rd, and we got a dogfight for 4th between Avery Alford, Aaron Abel, and Duncan Ward, who's going to back off there because 3 wide is definitely not what you want to do here at the Indianapolis road course. Got Brennan Wilmington in the 98 settling behind there. You got Justin Zidell making up a couple of spots here on the opening lap of the race. Yeah, definitely a tough break there for Bruno Giacomo and Brad Stover, getting spun the wrong way around on the opening lap. It looks like everybody else is going to get through cleanly, and coming back to the stripe, Fitzwater is going to lead the opening lap, but just barely, as he's now under attack here from the number 55 of Noah Clifton.
Great battles going on throughout this race so far, but you know, I was surprised, Caleb, that they were actually going 3 wide in between the corners there.
Yeah, they've somehow been able to make 3 wide work a couple of times, but it's definitely probably not the safest thing to do. We got one car down the pit lane that I believe is a 00 of Christian Vargas, who I don't know might have got caught up a little bit in that opening lap shenanigans. Might have made contact with somebody. So tough break definitely there for him. But Noah Clifton, with a textbook pass there, is going to pass Zachary Fitzwater for the race lead. Ace Garcia still sitting back there in the third position. Aaron Abel is going to move his way up to fourth. Avery Alford settles in fifth. Sixth is going to be the 13 of Duncan Ward. Wilmington is seventh. Justin Zidell settles in eighth. Ninth is Dylan Matthews. It looks like she might be forming up an attack here on the 75 of Justin Zidell here. As we head into turns 12 and 13. And Matthews is going to make that pass stick and move the 39 there up into the 8th position. And we got a battle here for the final spot in the top 10 between the 49 of Angel Gutierrez and your reigning champion, the 25 of Thomas Troxel, looking to get back-to-back top 10s after a very rough start to the season. Honestly, just saying a very rough start to the season might be an understatement for Thomas Troxel, but nice to see him finally having some good runs here. And sitting here right outside the top 10, you've still got the 8 of Tanner Parton looking to make some ground up here on the 79 of John Andrews, who still kind of sitting back here for the time being in the 24th position, so lost a few spots there off of the start. But still plenty of time left in this race, still plenty of time for that 79 to make some moves. Still plenty of time for a lot of stuff to happen, but right now Noah Clifton sitting pretty comfortably out in the lead, but Fitzwater not letting him get too far out.
And, you know, it just takes one little mistake for our leader to make for that second place driver to just zoom on by here.
Definitely one mistake can be all it can take. Run wide and you could lose a couple of tenths, maybe even a couple of seconds, but Fitzwater doing a good job at hanging with that 55, maybe trying to force him into a mistake potentially. I'm going to complete lap number 3 on to lap number 4. Clifton doing a good job so far. Ace Garcia trying to hang with our top 2 the best he can. Then he's got a pretty solid gap back to the 97 of Aaron Abel, who's trying to defend against the 93 of Avery Alford. Got some moves going on back here as Justin Zidell tries to dive to the inside of the 39 of Dylan Matthews. I'm going to take that spot away here as we go through turn 4, heading into the kink turns 5 and 6. They're going to stay side by side. Angel Gutierrez looking to get in on this battle, and Gutierrez is actually going to get a spot out of that, as Idell didn't really get off of turn 6 well, and Matthews is going to hang on to the spot, and Gutierrez is going to move up into, I believe, the 9th position. Now Zidell's under fire for 10th with the 25 of Thomas Troxel. And the one was gotten by Tanner Parton there, I believe, as well. And your pick there, Nicholas Samadia, looks like he might be making up some ground here, as now he's looking after the 8 of Tanner Parton.
Another thing is, you know, you're going to feel pressure from a lot of these drivers, and that's what forces these kind of mistakes. But also what I notice in these Indy cars, as I watch them through the seasons, you know, when they go into these corners and they actually curb hop the curb, they actually get loose and lose a little bit of speed. So that's another opportunity for a driver challenging you to gain a position as well.
Definitely. These drivers really like to use the curbs, and fortunately for some it can be the detriment, as curb hopping a little bit too much can cause you to completely lose control and spin your car out.
That was close.
We'll have to see if we see any of that here today. So far, so good, though, apart from a little bit of chaos that we had on the opening lap of the race.
Pretty spread out.
I might have spoke too soon, because something might have happened to the 07 of Bradley Bradshaw, and Carson Miller in the 86 is out of the race from an accident. Whatever happened there, I'll put a replay on the bottom left-hand side of your screen, but it looks like we might have had something happen apart from the lap 1 calamity.
And, you know, so far, you know, the 55 of Noah Clifton has been holding off Zachary Fitzwater here for the lead, and is doing an amazing job. But, you know, back there in 3rd place as well, you know, he was closing in a little bit. You know, the 27 was closing in a little bit, and now is starting to back off from 2nd place. And I think what's really challenging, Caleb, is when you're on these road courses, you got to take the start and the restarts, you know, to the best of your advantage, because once this field starts spreading out, it gets more challenging.
Definitely, and that's why A lot of times you see a lot of these drivers towards the front often finish towards the front because, on these starts, everybody's bunched up, so it can be pretty easy to make passes, but once everybody gets spread out, it gets just harder and harder as lap and lap goes by. But, still seeing some moves being made around the racetrack, like back here, we got Marcus Glitch trying to go after the 99 of Max Anderson. And looking through the field, Anthony Hernandez in the 88 there is going to go a little bit wide. Could potentially open the door here for the 5 of Noah Clifton to potentially make a move. We got both the Grattan Autosport cars here under a blanket. Nicholas Samadillo and Jay Knapp there. Right outside of the top 10, which final spot right now is being held by the 75 of Justin Zidell. Angel Gutierrez potentially looking to close here on the 39 of Dylan Matthews. And Avery Alford going to make a move there on Aaron Abel there. And is going to move up into the 4th position. Alford's been on a hot streak as of late. Had a really good run at Kansas and has another really good run going here so far from Indianapolis. But right now sits 5.3 seconds behind our race leader, who is now Zachary Fitzwater, who's going to take the race lead back from the number 55 of Noah Clifton. Took a good amount of curve there. It might have slowed him up just a little bit as he struggled to get the power down. Let Noah Clifton gain just a little bit. They come down here into turn 12 and 13. Clifton back all over the gearbox. Number 52 taking a peek to the right-hand side, and just like that, saw Fitzwater make a mistake there as they went through turns 8, 9, and 10, and Noah Clifton was able to capitalize and take the lead back. Like you said, Daniel, earlier in the race, one mistake is all it can take.
Yeah, and now that we're heading into turn number 1, you're going to start seeing, is a second-place driver going to go to the inside, make a pass? Very close there.
He went for the
Thought they were going to make a little bit of contact, but, again, now what Noah Clifton's going to want to do is try to maintain this lead. But again, second-place driver is waiting for him to make a mistake. He can make a mistake again, and Fitzwater could just fly on by.
Definitely. We saw Clifton fly by Fitzwater just like that. Fitzwater can do the same if something happens to this 55 machine. Ace Garcia's been running a solid race here so far, just kind of chilling in the 3rd position. And maybe just waiting for that cycle of pit stops to maybe capitalize on, because that will be coming up here in just a couple laps time. Fitzwater got a good exit there off of turn 10. A lot better of an exit than the 55 of Clifton. Looking at the inside, and it looks like these two might swap the leader once again. Down into turn 12 and 13, Fitzwater with the preferred line, and he's going to clear the 55 of Clifton. Another lead swap between Fitzwater and Clifton. These two have been swapping the lead like nobody's business here so far from the NTT Data Grand Prix of Indianapolis.
Fitzwater just took that lead like there was no one even there. And, what I was seeing out of Fitzwater in that past lap was, it looked like he was out-braking the leader. So what I mean by that is he's getting on the brakes a little bit later, but he's carrying more momentum, but he's also controlling the vehicle as well way better. So if Fitzwater could do that when he's in second place, he can get that lead. And that's what he did from Noah Clifton.
Definitely a great move there by Zachary Fitzwater, and trying to pull away now from the 55 of Noah Clifton. We saw Duncan Ward now up into the 4th position. Good run going here for Duncan Ward as well after a pretty disastrous week at the Kansas Speedway. Looking for a good result here today from Indianapolis. Looking through the field once again, Tanner Parton in the 8, currently sitting in the 13th position. Taking a look at where John Andrews might be. 79, he's moved his way back up to 22nd. So he's trying to make a bit of ground up here, but as they sit right now, I don't know, it might be pretty close between Tanner Parton and Zachary Fitzwater, because, with this race, a race win here in the IndyCar Series is worth a lot of points, so if he doesn't take the points lead, if they stay how they are right now, Fitzwater will definitely be in the thick of it once everything is said and done. But he's going to have to hold on to this 55 with Noah Clifton if he does want to get this race win. But still might have one more thing in his path here. Is in just a couple laps time, we should be approaching pit cycles. So it'll definitely be really interesting to see what everybody decides to do
Mhm.
here.
And you want, and when it comes to green flag pit stops, you're not going to want to make any mistakes coming in off pit road or during your pit stop. But I want to focus on the 27 here of Ace Garcia, sitting in third place right now. Don't count him out. After these pit stop cycles finish, again, if he's still sitting in third place, if nothing goes wrong, or perhaps maybe he gets the lead because something happened to the first two drivers during the pit stops, we don't know. But focusing on 27 of Ace Garcia, having a very strong night here tonight from Indianapolis. And again, the top two drivers, they can actually potentially mess up or make a pass on each other and potentially spin each other out, and there waiting is the 27 Ace Garcia. So he's sitting there, hopefully something happens so he can get that lead.
Definitely, and I mean, Garcia, we know that he knows how to get it done here. I believe he finished on the podium here last year.
Yep.
Behind, let's see it. Where's our last year's winner, Logan Williams, at? Currently running in the 17th position. So, a solid run going for Logan. Not the best, but, hey. Team Veloster had a really good run at the Kansas Speedway, so they've got that going for them at least. I have some shuffling going on here as Angel Gutierrez and Dylan Matthews looks to have gotten by Wilmington, but Wilmington looking to try and get back around this 39 of Dylan Matthews. Matthews going to go a little bit wide there, but is going to send it back inside as we go through the chicane. They're going to stay side by side, but Wilmington was able to get the power down really well there and is going to hold on to, I believe, the 8th position. Got a battle going on here between the 97 of Aaron Abel and the 13 of Duncan Ward. Back up front, though, it is Fitzwater leading, but we might have a bit of company as they seem to be closing in on the number 81 of Brad Stover, who we saw get involved in that calamity on the opening lap of the race. Don't know how much off the pace he is, but if they do catch him, we'll have to see how they can navigate around him. But we'll just have to see, because we're on to lap number 12 now, and the pit cycle should be open. So we'll have to see if anybody elects to come down pit lane.
Who's the first one to come down pit lane? Because, once one driver comes down, they're all going to come down within that lap or the next lap or maybe even 2 laps. So it all depends on, who's going to be the first one to come. Because once that first driver comes down, the rest of the field's going to make the decision to come down.
Definitely. We'll have to see who the first driver to come down is. See, is it going to be Zachary Fitzwater? Does not look like it. Clifton's going to stay out an extra lap, so is Ace Garcia. Avery Alford is also going to stay out.
Looks like the top 10 might all stay out.
Looks like at least most of the top 10 is going to stay out at least until lap number 13. Does indeed seem to be the case. Tanner Parton in the 8 is going to be our first one down, and this is definitely going to be interesting. We'll have to see what he can gain here from the undercut. Oh, Baby Ruiz in the 33 might have wanted to come down, but he missed the pit entry.
And that's the worst thing ever.
Stack up everybody on the front straightaway as I think he got hit there by the 80 of Reynolds. Put a replay of that on the bottom left-hand side of your screen, and John Andrews trying to take advantage of all this chaos, looking to make up some spots here. But Tanner Parton's going to be the lone entry to pit lane this time by.
And that was a mistake that, I was talking about earlier. You do not want to make these mistakes. You could cause a wreck or potentially put yourself in an even worse position than the one you were before coming down pit road. You see, here comes Fitzwater.
Yep, here
Ace
we
Garcia.
go. Like I said, once that first car comes down,
here they all come.
Here comes everybody. You're on lap number 13, coming to lap 14. All being led by the 52 of Zachary Fitzwater. We'll see if anybody decides to maybe elect to stay out, go a little bit long. We'll have to see. Right now, though, it doesn't look like it. It looks like pit road is going to be a busy place here this time by. I'll
And
definitely.
that pit road entrance, Caleb, is very, very tricky in my opinion because I've practiced on this pit road multiple times during the road course races, and let me tell you, trying to get down the speed, trying to shift down the first gear, it's very challenging because if you come in with so much momentum and you get in the grass, you get loose, and then I think that's what happened in this case a few
Oh, we
laps
got
ago with that
contact in the
one
pit
driver.
lane.
Whoa!
Troxel and Luna get into it on pit exit, and
Very
we,
narrow pit road too.
we know how
So,
treacherous Indianapolis's pit lane can be just in general, both on this layout and the normal oval layout. As Lona and Troxel make a bit of contact there. Luckily, didn't cause too much of a stack up. However, that looks like might cause both of them a little bit of time. But I know Tanner Parton probably would like to see that because looked like that was probably a couple spots there for the 8 machine. But it looks like everything has cycled out, and it does appear that Fitzwater is going to be your race leader, but he's not home free just yet, as he's still got a mirror full of the 55 and Noah Clifton.
I honestly think it's going to be between these two drivers if a caution were not to come out or anything like that. And I think we're going to see back and forth. Who's good at entering the corner, who's bad at entering the corner, who's good at leaving the turn, who's bad at leaving the turn. And it all depends who's out braking. So between these two drivers, I think it's going to be very interesting what happens.
It's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens. I think we're in for a very exciting sprint to the finish here. Fitzwater in the lead, trying to hold on. Clifton in second. Garcia still in third. But Garcia might be being ran down here by the 93 of Avery Alford. That 93 car is fast. Looking to try and run down that 27 for a podium position. We got Aaron Abel in 5th, Ward in 6th. 7th is Gutierrez. 8th is Brennan Wilmington. So got a double top 10 going here for both NS Racing and, I believe, Evans Ross Racing. Honestly, that might be in jeopardy now as Dylan Matthews is under fire from the 8 of Tanner Parton, looking to make his way here inside the top 10. Gonna stay side by side here as we go through the chicane here in turns 8 and 9. Matthews is gonna hold on to it for the time being. Parton's gonna send it back in, but he had to check up to avoid running into the 39. So Matthews is going to hold on to the 10th position for the time being. Avery Alford on Ace Garcia here for the 3rd position. And for the lead, Noah Clifton is backed by Zachary Fitzwater.
No big shocker there, but just keep an eye on Fitzwater. This happened before, and Fitzwater closed in on our leader of Clifton and got by him, so let's see what Fitzwater could do.
I have to see. Fitzwater definitely not going to let that 55 get away. And as we're talking at the Kansas Speedway after San Mateo got his win, that he kept his streak alive as one of the only drivers to win in every year here on the channel. The other driver who's got that streak going still right now is the 52 of Zachary Fitzwater. Still yet to win this year, but looking to keep that streak alive. He closes in on the 55 here as they go through the chicane and back onto the oval portion. I think this time by it'll be coming to 5 laps to go. Clifton goes a little bit wide there through turn 12. Fitzwater's peeking. He's looking to the inside here through turn 14. He's going to get to the inside as we come down the front straightaway. We're side by side for the lead. Fitzwater is going to get it at the line. We're going to stay side by side here going into 1.
Who's going to outbrake who here? Somebody's going to have to lift. And it looks like
neither one.
Fitzwater's clear, but here comes Clifton once again. Now Fitzwater's clear, so if he can maintain this lead, that'd be great. But here comes Clifton on the outside. He's not giving up.
Clifton is not giving this one up. They're still side by side for the lead.
How is this possible?
And Clifton's going to hang on to it.
I don't know how this is possible, but it happened.
I know back in 3rd, Avery Alford is probably yelling on the radio, hey, come on, keep fighting, let me catch up and join in on this battle. But Clifton is going to clear for the time being. Fitzwater, though, he's still right in behind. That 55 makes another mistake. Fitzwater is going to be there. I mean, that 52's been fast all day long, so maybe the 55 won't even have to make a mistake. for that 52 to close back in. Once again, though, Clifton runs a little bit wide there in turn 12. He's going to hold on to the lead here for the time being. Coming to lap number 18. We got 4 laps to go. This time by here from the Indianapolis road course, and it's still a crazy battle going on here between Clifton and Fitzwater, and now Aaron Abel in the 97 has made his way up into the 3rd position.
Clifton getting a little lead here over Fitzwater, but it's not over for Fitzwater yet. Fitzwater closing in once again.
Fitzwater's giving it everything he's got here against the 55 with Noah Clifton, who's probably doing the same at this point. And all these guys are probably pushing it as well and trying to catch up to these two, especially if they start going at it once again. And who knows, maybe even if they get into it, could open up the catbird seat for all these guys back here. Here comes Fitzwater. Good power off of turn number 10. Might have a good shot here at going after that 55 as we go into turns 12, 13, and 14. Oh, and here we go. Noah Clifton goes wide. Fitzwater's going to get back to the right-hand side. And once again, side by side for the lead. And Fitzy, with the preferred lane, takes the lead back as we come to 3 laps to go here from the Indianapolis road course. Spectacular stuff we're seeing up here at the front of the field.
It's not over yet. You know, road courses, they're very, what's the word, Caleb, I'm looking for? Very long compared to racing on ovals. Because, you know, you're looking in the mirror, you know that second place driver is right behind you, and it's very interesting to explain because the driver's looking in their mirror, and they know if they make one mistake, it could be all game over.
The pressure is on for all of these guys, especially our 2 race leaders here up towards the front. We're coming to 2 laps to go. We got skid marks there through the chicane, so something might have happened to somebody. Put a replay on the bottom left-hand side of your screen if something did happen. Fitzwater dips his tires into the grass a little bit. Noah Clifton's going to close in just a little bit here as we go into 12, 13, and 14. Clifton trying to dive it in. He's to the right-hand side, and once again, these two are going to swap the race lead as we're coming to 2 to go. This time by Clifton is back out front.
I don't think we're done flip-flopping yet. With 2 to go, you know, I think if Fitzwater knows what he's doing. I think what's happening right now is Fitzwater's going to save his tires a little bit, Caleb, and he's going to try to make it one last move on the last lap. That's what I'm thinking.
I think it's definitely possible that Fitzwater could just be abiding by his time and waiting for the right moment to strike. But he doesn't want the 55 to get too far ahead, because if he doesn't make a mistake, it could be kind of difficult to catch back up to him. But this time by, it's going to be the final lap here from the Indianapolis road course. These guys are absolutely giving it their all. Fitzwater's gained a lot of time there. Oh, but he did get the power down as well there, coming off of turn 9.
A little mistake.
Under the oval portion. Here we go. Coming to the white flag this time by. Does Fitzwater have anything left for this 55 at Clifton?
He's got to get there. If he gets to his bumper, he's got a shot.
Through turn 14 for the second to final time. The white flag is waving. 1 lap to go here from the NTT Data Grand Prix of Indianapolis for Noah Clifton, trying everything he can to hold off this 52 of Zachary Fitzwater. Fitzwater trying to do everything he can to close back into this 55. And we might have a lap car in the way. We got the 07 of Bradley Bradshaw up the road.
And I think what happened, I think we would have seen Zachary Fitzwater closer to Clifton if he were to have that grip and not make that little mistake there coming to the white flag. But again, he went over the curb, he got a little loose.
Oh, Clifton got over the curb a little bit there, and he went wide. Fitzwater's right back to his gearbox.
That was a mistake. Fitzwater's going to go to
Big
the
mistake
inside.
out of Clifton, and here comes
Here we go.
Fitzwater. Side by
They're gonna be
side, coming
side.
into
Fitzwater
turn
can't have an
12.
advantage on the inside. He's clear. He could have went down.
Can Clifton get the
Oh,
power
he's
down?
there.
No, he
He's got it.
cannot. Fitzwater
He's
pulls
got it.
ahead, and he's going to keep the winning streak
Fitzwater.
alive on a last lap pass. Zachary Fitzwater wins the NTT Data Grand Prix of Indianapolis.
What just happened? What just happened? I was just talking about him making a mistake, and then Clifton made a mistake. Look at that redemption.
Absolute cinema is what just happened.
Yeah, hey, that's all we said all race long. It takes one mistake, and you try not to do that on the last lap, but we said it over and over again, the pressure is on these drivers, and that's what happens.
Man, oh man, like we've been
That
saying
was a
all
good
race.
finish.
Just one mistake. One mistake can make the difference, and unfortunately Clifton, he just had a bit of a rough go at it there through turns 9 and 10. That allowed Fitzwater to close back in. Dove it to the inside going into 12, and that was all she wrote right there. And like I said, Zachary Fitzwater, after Samadeo kept the streak alive last week, Fitzwater is going to stamp it in the books, as he's also going to keep his winning streak alive for every year here on the channel. My goodness.
But not a bad day for Clifton at all. You know, led a lot of laps.
Oh, yeah.
He's been in the top 3 most of the night. You know, didn't have any pit road mistakes, so good job. I would be happy with a solid P2 finish, basically.
Definitely still a solid run for Noah Clifton. A flying effort there. It is all but unfortunately just going to come up short there in P2, but still nothing to scoff at. And Aaron Abel there in the 97 is going to come on there with a podium
Look who
finish.
also finished in the top 5.
Good stuff.
Ace
there
Garcia in the 27.
Garcia finishes in the top 5. And Tanner Parton in the 8. Gonna come home with a top 10 finish. And John Andrews, can't really say the same thing for him. Potential looked like it might have been a tough second stint there for our, at this point, probably former points leader. Gonna come home in the 25th position. But still got a long ways left to go in this season. We're just now getting into the halfway point. But, ooh, my goodness, what a race here from the Indianapolis road course. If you told me going in that this would probably be the race of the season, I probably wouldn't believe you, but here we are. What an absolutely spectacular race here from the Indianapolis road course, and what a drive by Zachary Fitzwater, getting his first win on the season, and we'll have to see how things shake out, but if he isn't the points leader, I think he's definitely well within range of Tanner Parton here after this one. Wow, taking a look here at your finishing results here from the Indianapolis road course. Zachary Fitzwater is going to get it done here. Noah Clifton still comes home in second, and Aaron Abel rounds out your podium. Looking further on down here through your top 10, we got Ace Garcia coming home in 4th, Avery Alford 5th, Duncan Ward comes home in 6th, Angel Gutierrez 7th, Brennan Wilmington 8th, Justin Zidell 9th, and Tanner Parton is going to round out your top 10 here from the Indianapolis road course. But, wow, what a race. Final thoughts, Daniel. What did you think about what we saw here today from the Indianapolis road course?
Well, you know, I've never broadcast an IndyCar race until tonight from Indy, and, you know, it was a pretty good race, you know, from past experiences racing on this road course, you know, especially turn 1, you know, you see a lot of dive bombs. We saw some of that in the start of the race, but I mean, it couldn't have been any better between Zachary Fitzwater, Noah Clifton going back and forth, and one thing that wasn't on my radar was seeing a pit road accident, but again, you know, Indianapolis has a very narrow pit road, so that could happen. Was I expecting it? No, but, you know, it was pretty exciting to watch. But, you know, coming up soon, Caleb, is the Indy 250 coming up for a lot of these IndyCar drivers, so they're probably preparing for that, you know, getting ready for that big event, and I'm sure they're going to put on a heck of a show.
Absolutely, no doubt they're going to put on a heck of a show there in the Indy 250, which is the next race on the calendar, coming up here in just over a week's time. That race will be going up on Saturday, May 24th at noon Eastern Time. And hey, before that, tomorrow we've got Indy 250 main practice. We've got qualifying over the weekend. We also got Carb Day practice next Friday, May 23rd. We've also got the Freedom 50 qualifying and the race to look out for, and a lot of other stuff here on the channel to watch out for here during Indy 250 week. Like I said, one of the most fun times here on the channel, arguably the most fun time here on the channel. And really looking forward to seeing how the rest of Indy 250 week goes down. If this is an indicator, strap in, because this is going to be a lot of fun. But with all that being said, thank you all so much for tuning in, and once again, thank you so much, Daniel, for joining me up here in the booth. And I will see you all from Indianapolis for the Indianapolis 250. You all take care, and as always, y'all have a good one. Here is your point standings after race number 8 on the season.